Habs lose 5-3 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Last game we played before the Four Nations face-off is the second half of a back-to-back, but Tampa is also on the second half of a back-to-back. And just like the Habs, my cat really doesn't want to cooperate today. I want to see if I can get some consolation from the cat. Come here, buddy. Okay, some consolation, but he's been pretty erratic. So I'll just let him go fast. But there, consolation cat for the Habs loss. So a few things to go through in this game. And I just want to start by saying that we didn't play a bad game. Overall, the Habs win that game more often than not. I think if you play that same game many times, the Habs win more often than not. We had more chances. We were in their zone a lot. We were creating offense. Vasilevsky was having to work hard for their team, and even sometimes we beat him, and a defenseman got the puck out or saved a goal or something like that. So the Habs were not playing bad, but we did have really bad mistakes, and Tampa is good on capitalizing on those mistakes by the Habs. And the first period is we have 10 shots, no goals, with 2 minutes left or something like that, and Tampa has 2 shots and 2 goals. So yeah, not great in that regard, right? But we didn't play a bad game. I just wanted to start with that. Overall, you could see the effort. You could see flashes of how they were playing in that month run where they were great. You could see some of that still there, so it's nice to see. Obviously, this is still a rebuilding team. This is still a very young team, so you're going to see some inconsistency. But, I was starting to lose a little bit of that hype that they had created when they played that well for a month. And last night's game, last afternoon's game, when they showed those flashes, made me feel good again for the future. Obviously it's gonna take a while for them to be consistent to play like that, but yeah, it's good to see. I wanted to mention we played so well. We completely shut down Kucherov. He had 0 shots on goals, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, which is really odd for Kucherov, right? He also had 0 minutes, which is pretty good. We completely shut him down. He didn't even play the game. He was invisible out there. Anyways, Dalbish in net to start with because Monty had played against New Jersey on Saturday. So it's Dalbish's turn, and it's the first time we pulled Dalbish out of the net. The commentators are saying that he got pulled a little early, and I agree a little with them because the first 2 goals, Dalbish had nothing he could have done. We just made we made a couple of horrible mistakes, and Tampa was just in front of him. Nothing we could have done, nothing he could have done. If he had gotten those saves, it would have been amazing. He can be an amazing goalie, but he's not expected to make those saves, right? So you can't really blame the first 2 on him. The third one, though, maybe they pulled him because he shot the bed real bad. I don't know. I've never seen a goalie do that before, fail like that before, where he was trying to put his skates on the post so he could quickly push to the other side, and he missed the post and completely fell on his own accord and just leaves an open net. I've never seen that before. I know I've been watching the Habs, and the Habs usually have really good goalies, so maybe it's common in the NHL in general, but with lower tier goalies or whatever, but I had never personally seen that before. So maybe it was because of that. Maybe after that mistake, Martin was he's not there, he doesn't have his head in the game, and maybe it's very embarrassing, and it's better to just pull him instead of having him keep suffering out there. I don't know. I partly agree with the pool after that mistake, but if you look at it in an overall, like he just had 2 goals that he couldn't do anything against, and then 1 bad goal. Sure, he's been scored on 3 times on like 5 shots, and only after 1 period, but I don't know, maybe a little early. Hopefully, it doesn't shatter his confidence. Like, goalies are weird to hear what you hear all the time, and confidence apparently plays a really big factor in that. Like, look at Primo. Really bad in the NHL this season, right? But like in the AHL, he's invincible apparently. Like he's won like 10 in a row, and that's so he has the skills. Obviously, he's showing them, but like it's confidence, right? His confidence is not there in the NHL. So you hope Dobish's confidence doesn't shatter after this game, after being pulled once. Monty came into support in the net, and he actually had a pretty good game. He got scored on once, I think. Yeah, and the goal, like, not a lot he could have done there either, right? The first goal, Slav. I wanted to talk a little bit about Slav, because he's playing in the first line. He starts the game in the first line. Has this horrible mistake where he tries to make a play to put it into Caufield's stick as he's rushing up the ice. He doesn't put it on the stick, he puts it on the skate, which makes it a bounce, and everyone's rushing up the ice. So then Tampa is just like left in front of Dobish. And yeah, they just wait him out because they had an infinite amount of time. And everyone, the commentators were saying like how Slav needs to be a lot more careful with those passes. Like if you're gonna make something that you cannot miss, and if it's really risky, just don't do it. Just like put it up, right? don't risk the bounce on the skates. So he gets demoted after that mistake, and it's good to see in a way that Martin now has a very short leash on Slav with these little passes that he does that usually can be very risky. I'm sure they tell him all the time to not do them unless he's 100% sure they're going to work. He does it, it doesn't work, and he ends up in the back of our net, and he gets demoted. Third line, right? Evans takes the Slav spot for most of the game. Dak ends up taking the last few shifts in that first line. But yeah, Slav keeps on playing with Dvorak and Gallagher. And I was very ready to start calling him out after that. I was like, thinking of names to name this video, like Slav, come on kid, instead like Slavkovsky, yeah, whatever. I'm bad at those puns, but like I was ready to start, being upset at him. But honestly, he had a pretty good game in that third line. And makes me start to wonder if he has a lot of pressure playing with Suzuki and Caulfield. Like, if he has the pressure to always be trying to make the play. They're really good players, Caulfield and Suzuki. And they also need him to raise to their level, right? So I wonder if he's trying to do more than what he feels comfortable with. And he played pretty well in the third line. He had a big impact, was throwing big hits, retrieved the puck a lot, generated, I think had an assist, and then the third goal, I don't think he had an assist, but pushed Hedman out of the puck, which allowed Gallagher to shoot. Yeah, so like he was having an impact out there. Makes you think, like, is he actually the best complementary winger to Suzuki and Caulfield? Maybe in the future. Maybe right now he needs a little bit more freedom, less pressure to make the play. I don't know how. Obviously, I'm just guessing here, but it was interesting to see, and good to see also that he didn't take it bad. He didn't take the demotion in a bad way. He just took it as like, okay, I need to show myself again now. I need to prove myself worthy and whatnot. And yeah, he had a good game. So. Good to see in a way, but obviously the mistake that cost him the demotion, but good that he did play better after. Power play. I wanted to mention the power play because we did get a few power plays here and there. We actually converted one. Our second line converts, but I wanted to talk about the first unit of the power play because they were not good again. But you did start seeing some of the creativity that you want to see when they're starting to struggle. So, like, you have very creative players, very shifty players. You have Hudson out there, you have Caulfield that's really good at that, and then you have the shooting threats, right? With Laine, Slafkovsky's there for retrieval, and obviously Suzuki, creativity there as well, and a shooting threat as well. So, you have usually Caulfield has been playing on the slot, and Laine on the wing, and with Suzuki and Hudson just passing to each other and trying to create something, right? But we saw Suzuki and Caulfield actually switch positions. So it was Caulfield on the outside and Suzuki in the bumper spot where he just tried to rip it. And, like, honestly, I don't mind saying that those few little changes to throw off the opposition, right? The opposition is going to try to rush Caulfield so he doesn't get a shot off, but then Suzuki was wide open, right? So honestly, pretty good to see, but at the same time, these are some pretty painful growing pains for a power play, for our first power play unit, because it can be real bad when it's not clicking, and it's so sad to see when it's that bad because they have so much talent in there. So yeah, it's improving. Yeah, they're trying some other ways of getting the zone entry, because of course Tampa is going to play similar style to what New Jersey and LA did, just like suffocate us in the neutral zone, because it worked, right? So it was nice to see, for example, Hudson just carry the puck in fully, or they tried the dump in and actually worked. So a few adjustments, and it's good to see, that they realize they can't just keep doing the same thing they've been doing. It's not working anymore. The team's adapted. They need to adapt now, and they're trying to. Not great now that they have like a 2-week rest, or they're not going to practice against another team. I don't think I can get to practice, especially with like Laine out of there. So yeah, but anyways, good to see that they're trying to adjust. Speaking of Laine, he had a better game. Still not good. Like, he's still obviously struggling, but he was better. He actually created 2 penalties. One of them he took away because after that he grabbed the stick and it ended up being a 4-on-4. A little dumb. Like, you need to realize that, okay, you got the penalty, you tried to get the extra, not take one yourself right after. But then he did create one by getting tripped and being in the right zone, so like, pretty good. He seemed a little bit more comfortable with the puck on his stick. It still makes me really nervous whenever he has the puck on his stick, because he always tries to do the dangle, but at a very slow speed. And like, somehow it works half the time, but the other half he just gets the puck off, and he's still very soft on the puck on a power play. So whenever the puck goes to him and it's just not for a shot and he needs to, keep the puck in the zone or make a pass, more often than not, that puck ends up in our zone and we need to do the zone entry again. So still a lot to improve. Obviously he doesn't score, but he does get a few shots off. You can see his shot is also not as good as it used to be before, probably confidence related. But some improvement for how awful he was the last 2-3 games. He was awful, and this game he was just not good, which is an improvement from awful, right? I wanted to mention as well Struble plus Hudson. Obviously they're both inexperienced players. They don't have a lot of games under their belt, and they were one of the main factors of the second Tampa goal. So Hudson sees the puck is leaving the zone and tries to rush it up the ice to make a play. It's a risky play. It's already a risky decision by Hudson to try and keep the puck in, because he didn't have any support back. It's just Struble, right? He tries to make the play. It doesn't work. So, okay, now you're on to plan B, right? What is plan B? Is Struble trying to play defensively, and hopefully the chance that Tampa creates is not as dangerous. But Struble also takes a risky chance to try and play the puck, not, like slow them down and whatnot. It doesn't work. The pass goes right by him, and it's a 2-0. And Hedman just buries it, right? So I don't think that happens if Hudson is playing with a veteran defenseman, because the veteran defenseman, I think, plays the 3-on-1 better. And I don't think it happens if Struble is playing with a veteran defenseman, because the veteran defenseman wouldn't make the rush decision that Hudson did. Obviously, Hudson is offensively minded. He's defensively responsible too, but he does take these risks, right? So you need to, I think as a pair to Hudson, you need to know that he's going to do that, and you need to be prepared to make the defensive play in case whatever Hudson didn't work. So yeah, pairing with Struble plus Hudson can be pretty bad in those situations. Other than that, honestly, they didn't play bad. They were generating chances. They were Hudson was giving Struble space for his shot. Yeah. Speaking of shot, by the way, Jacky was out there with the empty net. I didn't mind that at all because he has a very heavy shot. So at some point it was Hudson and Jacky out there. And yeah, so if Jacky stays on the outside and Hudson creates the opportunity or the space for Jacky to get a shot off, like, that's also a scoring threat, right? So I didn't mind that at all. Jacky did try to get a shot off and broke his stick, which was sad, and then he changed for Matheson, which is also an offensive threat, so yeah, it didn't matter too much in the end, but I like the idea, honestly. Again, they did do this thing at the last minute where they bring out Dvorak and Gallagher. Dvorak to make sure we win the faceoff, and by the way, Dvorak was like 65% on the faceoffs. He had actually a pretty good game. I think an assist on a goal or something like that. But yeah, good from Dvorak. I think he played well. You know, I'm the first Dvorak critic. I'm always bashing on him, but you gotta admit when he has good games. What was I saying? Oh yeah, they put Dvorak and Gallagher out there instead of Suzuki and Caulfield, but I think they keep Slav, they keep Line and the defense pairings. I don't mind that either, honestly. Like, Suzuki and Caulfield haven't proved recently that they are better at that than Dvorak and Gallagher, and you have Slapakowski to keep the puck in there, and Hudson to create the chances, Line to be there in case that lane opens up. I didn't mind that. It's nice to see some creativity come from Marty as well, and in those situations. Oh, something made me think of the future. The commentators were saying how John Cooper, the Tampa Bay Lightning head coach, uses Kucherov in a lot of situations. So he puts Kucherov in like the first line, and sometimes he shuffles the line and puts him on the second line. So, you know, when they're trying to shut down Kucherov and you're trying to play him on your shutdown line against the Tampa's first line, sometimes Kucherov is in the second line, and you use your shutdown pair for the first line, and the second line has an easier time offensively, right? I'm wondering if Demidov is going to be someone like that, and someone that Marty can use, just like shuffling him in every line, because he's going to be a threat everywhere. Would be cool to see, like our own little version of Kucherov. Excited for the future. What else do I have here? I didn't like the refs too much yesterday. I don't think they determined the outcome of the game, but they missed so many calls. I obviously I saw more of the calls that they missed against the Habs, but they also missed a few calls against the Habs. Like I was saying, I saw the calls that missed that would favor the Habs, but they also missed the ones that would favor Tampa. Like, Dvorak just yeets someone's stick. The refs were right there. They saw it. They didn't call it. The refs were right there every time Anderson was getting tripped, which was more than once, and Anderson was so mad. So mad. You see him fall once after getting tripped, and he's upset, and twice he's fairly upset, then 3 times, and he's just mad, yelling at the refs. And sure, with some reason, honestly, but they kept the whistle in their pockets at the end there. So they're already in playoff form, like we like to say. The refs are in playoff form. Speaking of Anderson, shout out to him. I think he had a really good game. He keeps showing that he deserves to play in that second line, honestly. And until Linus starts showing what he can do again, I think Anderson is a pretty good match there. He's generating so many chances, and he's using his speed effectively now. Like Hudson keeps finding him with the long passes, and he has breakaways. He's gonna score on some, right? Right? I know he doesn't have the best hands, but he created a penalty, right? That obviously just whiffed. But he's creating chances, and some of them are gonna go in. Sad that he didn't score at all. But yeah, so many chances from Anderson yesterday. So yeah, he's also fairly injured. You can see every time he goes down, he takes a long time to get back up, and it's like gingerly going to the bench. Apparently also he's been taking a lot of time off from practices, so he's always having the therapy days or recovery days, I forget how they're called, whenever there's practice. So there's obviously something wrong with him. If I were to guess, I would say the knee. I think it was New York where his knee just got bent pretty badly. I think he's playing with something on that knee, and you could see on one of the plays where he goes down and he's like very hurt, that his knee bends a little bit. Not too much, not in a bad way in any way, but his knee bends a little bit, and then he stays on the ice for a while, and then he's on the bench just like hunched over in pain. So I do think it's something with his knee. I don't know if now this break for the Four Nations is going to be enough time for him to completely recover from that. But hopefully he does. Hopefully he returns, and him and all the team, right? Returns with a lot more energy and whatnot to keep on battling for the playoffs. We're probably not going to make it, but you want to see them trying. You want to see them playing well, playing for something, right? Having meaningful games in March is what we've been wanting for a while. So hopefully we have some meaningful games in March. I think we come back the 21st or the 20th against Ottawa. So yeah, we need to come in bussing, because otherwise our chances are going to be gone pretty fast. We're already, in the backseat. Everybody's saying already that the Habs are going to be sellers by the deadline, and I think they're going to be soft sellers, maybe. We'll see. The last point I wanted to mention here is that Gallagher breaks the no scoring streak once again. I think it was 2 or 3 games, like a few weeks back, where the Habs hadn't scored, and Gallagher is the one that breaks the curse, right? And then yesterday, after being shut off in against New Jersey and not scoring at home for like 7 periods or something like that, what was it? Gallagher breaks that, and he scores 1 at home, and he opens the scoring, and he gets 2. So shout out to Gally. I think he made the best of his chances. He had actually a good amount of chances there with Slavkovsky and Dvorak. That line was buzzing. So we'll see what the lines are at the back of the break. For now, hopefully they all rest. I won't be making any videos till then. My channel right now is just reactions to the Habs games. So hopefully we'll see you the 20th. Hopefully you guys enjoy the Four Nations. I'm sure you'll be watching it. Hopefully they're fun games, and yeah, hopefully the rest of the team gets to rest and come back with a lot of energy. So that's it. See you the 20th. Go Habs go.